Millenco Euro cylinder lock. Just show you the key card here. It's a Millenco key code card. The type of lock that it basically is, you can see this is the key here. It's a dimple lock with a sidebar. Okay, but it's also got on this lock as well. This is one that I've split apart. You can see how it's got this anti-snap bar as well. Okay, so this anti-snap, anti-pick, etc. is supposed to be drill resistant as well. But why I've split this lock apart, just to explain to you a little bit about how the lock works. Okay, give you a quick insight. Okay, what we basically got, you can see this is the one half of the lock that I've not stripped down. Okay, so you can see that there. The lock that I have stripped down took a while to strip down, or not from a point of view, it just took a while just to split off the C-clip, etc. But what I've basically done, just to show you how, for example, the sidebar works, you'll see how on the key here we've got this groove that runs down the side of the key. Okay, because that basically pulls the sidebar out of the lock case, because the sidebar would be sat proud. And how that basically works here, I've got the plug here. What you can see is these pins. Oh, just get that in focus. You can see how we've got these 4 pins in a line. I've actually took this one out. Is what the pin basically looks like. They're all under a spring load. Okay, that is basically a sidebar pin, just there. Okay, and the actual pin itself, or what slides into the groove on the key, is just this little upstand here. Okay, I'm just going to pop this one back into the lock. They are all under a spring load, so when the pins actually come out, there's actually a spring in each of the holes here, and the springs are really small, so you have to watch that. Okay, so what I just want to show you is how the sidebar actually works. So what I'm going to do is just hold the pins in with my thumb. Now what you can see is basically how without the key in the lock, you can see all these little pins just in the groove here. Now on top of that would be sat the sidebar. Okay, and that sidebar is also sitting on some springs. Okay, so it always sits proud. So basically when the key goes in, what it's allowed to do is a sidebar is allowed to drop down. And just to show you how that works, so when I slide in the key, hopefully you'll see these pins all start to align. Okay, so I'm just going to get it in a position. So as the key goes through, you can see some of them move in there. My thumb's restricting it a bit. It's going through, and eventually how they're all out the way now. Okay, you can see there's no pins in the way there. So basically that sidebar would be allowed to drop down nice and flush with the plug, and that would allow the plug to rotate. Obviously at the same time the pins would be aligned. Okay, so just to show you that again on them pins, you can see how as well, because this sidebar isn't under a spring load, the springs want to naturally make it jump up, hence I can't get the key back out now. So it's not until I pop out the sidebar that hopefully now you'll see them pins moving again when I extract the key. Okay, so key in. Okay, all aligned. Key back out, and you'll see them all jumping about there. Okay, so that's basically how the sidebar pins work. The actual pins themselves, okay, what we've actually got are V-shaped pins, and what I basically mean by that is the pins aren't V-shaped, the actual pins themselves, because it works much the same as any other pin dimple lock. That's one of the pins there. Okay. And how it basically works, or when they go back into the plug, they sit across each other in almost like a V shape. Okay, so basically, looking at the top of the plug here, hopefully you may be able to see how, for example, this first hole here, the pin would sit slightly down, just get that in line, slightly down at an angle like so. And then on the next pin, it would sit this way, next pin this way, next pin this way. So they form a sort of V shape. Okay, so you can see all the holes there, and it's a 7-pin lock. Okay. What I'm not going to do is rebuild the lock and then show you the lock being picked all in one go, because these take time to rebuild. So what I'm going to do is just rebuild the lock without losing all them pins, which I just have done. Okay, I'm just going to rebuild the lock and then I'll show you this lock being picked. That was just a quick insight, hopefully, into a rough guide how the lock works. Right, okay then, that's what I'm going to show you now, is the actual Millenco lock here being picked. Okay, what I'm going to basically going to use is a spade pick. Okay, just got basic spade pick here, basic tension tool. Okay, and the last little pick that I'll be using is basically, it's not really a pick, you see, it's just actually a very thin bit of spring steel. It's actually a pick that got broken, and all I've done is just file off the edge. That will make sense when I show you that being used. But that pick there is basically going to be to engage these side pins that allow the locking bar at the top here to drop down back into the plug, because at the moment that locking bar is sat proud just here, so I need that to drop. But first of all, I just need to get the pins in the correct place. What I'm going to have to do as well, because we have the V profile to the pins, so i.e. some of the pins sit across like so and some this way. Okay, what I'm going to have to do is pick one side at a time, and basically when I have my hook pick here on the left hand side of the profile of the plug, there's actually 4 pins along that side that I have to pick, which are going down in this direction. And then what I do then is reverse that round to pick across on this side of the plug, because that will allow me to get the additional 3 pins that sit across in the plug like so. Okay, hence that V profile of the pins. So basically not all the pins are in a straight line. Okay, basically got 4 on the right hand side here and 3 on the left. Okay, so what I'm going to start this off. So just get my tension tool in, just on the side of the plug there, out of the way of the pins, and just go in and start to feel for any binding pins. Okay, so I'm just going nice and slow, feeling them pins. Okay, just gentle turn, hear a little click there. And as I say, on this side I've got 4 pins that I have to locate. So I'm just looking for the binding pins, and they're the ones that I just gently depress. Okay, that's that side. So now I'm going to swap over onto this side here. Again, looking for binding pins. I've just got 3 pins that I need to find on this side. You will go on top of the other pins, but you'll find they're a little bit more difficult to depress. See that nice click there? So again, looking for them tight pins, easing my pick across onto them. Little click there, got another bound pin there. You may not be able to see it, but the plug is actually beginning to turn a very small amount. Okay, so back onto this side. It hasn't turned quite enough yet for me to think that I should go for them side pins. It's got a tight one here, so I'm just getting my pick on top of that pin. Another little click there. Another tight pin. See, it's just very, very small turns of that pick head. Being careful not to over work the pins. See how slow I go through. Okay, I've got a tight pin there, and when I'm depressing it, slightly wants to throw the plug back, so I'm not going to depress that too far, because it could be a high pin there anyway. Nice little click there. Okay, so now back on to the other side. Again, feeling for them pins. Okay, I basically have to pick quite low just to check. So I'm almost as I go through, nice bit of give there. Do you see that plug go then? Okay, so now it's more of a going through the feel them pins. Just going to run back through across this side. Get another tight pin there. Remember what I'm doing here, basically because of the tension, that's naturally going to apply some bind onto some of these pins, and they're the ones that we gently tease with the spade pick. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with most of them pins. So now what I'm going to do, I'm basically going to go in down the side of the plug. Remember them side pins run along this side here, and I need to pull them pins out because they relate to the grooves. You can see that run. Oh, just come that out. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, you can see the groove on the left hand side of that key. Okay, because that's where them pins are pulled out to. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go in. I'll just run down the side. I'll try not to disturb any of the actual plug pins. So I'm just going in. I'm gently teasing out the pins. Just got a nice bit of give there. If I think I've gone too far, I'm just going to tuck one or two back, because naturally I could pull one of the pins, one or more of the pins out too far. So I just push them back, that resets them, and I'll go back through again. Okay, just reset them there. It looks like I lost a pin there as well, so I'm going to go back in. Okay, because that plug turned back quite a way. Okay, just run down the other side. But hopefully you can see here as well how slow I'm going, so I'm not going mad with it. Okay, let's just reset that pin which I'd lost. Really take my time, because you really got to get that spade pick onto each pin. If you don't take your time to do that, then you're not going to pick it. Again, just going for that sidebar and little twists on that pick. That just pulls them little pins back and forth. So I'm going back. I'm using on and off for the tension as I do that. Just goes there. You see, I just got them pins in the right place, and it goes. But hopefully, what you've seen there as well, I've not gone mad when I'm picking. I'm not just scooting through any which way. I'm taking my time to get that pick onto each of them pins. Okay, just making sure before I go for that that top bar, i.e. the pins that are on the side, making sure that I'm happy that the 7 pins, plug pins, are all in place. Hopefully, that's give you an idea of how we pick that type of lock.